There you go. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about kind of the how, but why men usually don't go from friends with benefits to relationship a lot of the time. Not saying it can't happen, it absolutely can, and a lot of times it does, but then a lot of times it doesn't. And you're probably watching this because you've seen the title and you're like, well, this is kind of my scenario. Let me see what he has to say. Now, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Just click the red button below. I love you forever, along with the bell notification if you want to get my videos right away. And if you want to work with yours truly or get my course, Attraction Academy, links are down below. So, first off, let me tell you who this video is not for, okay? If this guy is recently divorced, recently single, has never had a serious relationship, has told you he does not want a relationship, or said that I'd rather have friends and benefits, or that I'm not looking for something, or I don't know what something like that, this is not for you. You need to subscribe, click the bell notification, and then back out, okay? The back button. This is not the video for you. This guy is not going to change. He does not want a relationship, okay? This video now is for the women who are talking to a guy who says, I want a relationship, but you're wondering why he says that and his actions aren't lining up with his words. Well, we're talking consistently. He acts like my boyfriend. He treats me well. Again, it's consistent, but we're not transitioning. Why? So, to talk about this, I first want to go back to like what I call the evolutionary, or look at things from an evolutionary perspective, right? And how the goal of both organisms is to survive and reproduce. Now, even though that's the case, that doesn't mean you have to have kids or that you necessarily want kids. But the way the brain works is you're a temporary meat bag, right, for your DNA. That's all you are, just a meat bag for your DNA. And the job of every organism is to survive long enough, gain advantages, and to pass on their DNA, their offspring, to keep the line going on, right? And to do this, there are two sexual strategies usually that we go with. There's the women's side and then the male side. Now, the male side believes, as you all know, that quantity over quality. Now, of course, if a man can get quality too, that's great, but he wants to try to get as much quantity as possible without sacrificing quality. So sometimes when you're like, women will come to me, they're like, I'm a 10, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these great things. And while that might be the case, if the guy sees the benefits of being with 2 7s or 3 7s instead of a 10, he might do that unless he's actually a guy ready to settle down and want a relationship. That's where it's different, okay? Now, that's how a lot of men are because of our physiology. A man could be, again, from an evolutionary perspective, a man is going to be the same dude the following day. From an evolutionary perspective, the following day, if he gets a bunch of women pregnant, he goes around, he spreads his seed, he messes around with a bunch of women. He might get an STD, that's the worst case scenario. He might get something that makes his nuts itch, it makes his whatever itch. But at the end of the day, in terms of status, in terms of power, in terms of vulnerability, in terms of resources, he's pretty much the same dude. Whereas a woman, that is not the case. I don't judge women. You can do whatever you want with your bodies. I don't slut shame. But from an evolutionary perspective, there's not a lot of benefit for a woman to sleep around. Because a woman, unlike a man, based on physiology, is not the same person the next day or the following weeks or months, right? You become pregnant, you take more resources to maintain. I have to give resources to 2 of you now. You're more vulnerable to prey, you're slower, you're going to be ostracized from other men. And this is all unfortunate, and this is just sexual strategy, okay? So a woman's sexual strategy is I want to focus more on quality, depth, rapport, one man, one woman together. I want a man who invests. He invests heavily. He shows security and that he's willing to invest and go long term with me, because I believe as a woman that this is the best way to raise an offspring successfully. Now, a man thinks, well, that's true, but I'm going to spread my seed as much as possible because that's also a good way, because out of one of these women, it's going to be successful, okay? The raising of the child. So, with that being said, now we're actually going to get to the what's it, the meat and beans of the talk. So here's the thing. If a man thinks, it's all about advantages. If a man thinks he can get away with having his cake and eating it too, which is talking to you and getting these boyfriend-girlfriend relationship benefits, if he thinks he can get away with it while talking to other women, he can, or he will, okay? He's going to attempt that. Now, if he is a man who is wanting a relationship and you're a woman who at the 6 to 8 week mark, you put your foot down and you're saying, nah, dude, that's not going to happen, and he actually likes you and he wants a relationship, well, now there's a dilemma. But if you're not going to create an urgency, if you're not going to create a threat, if there's not going to be a consequence for his actions, he's not going to make the decision. Now, a lot of women will come to me and say, well, I don't want to come off needy. I don't want to pressure him. And I think that is the problem with society nowadays. You're not pressuring a guy who is consistent with you, who has been on 6 to 8 dates with you, a guy knows what he wants a week or two in. I would say a guy knows what he wants with the first date. But a week or two in, after seeing a girl 2 or 3 times, I would say he's pretty sure he wants to relate, or he's pretty sure what he wants from her. And I think a lot of men out there, I'm not saying men are bad dudes, but I think a lot of men, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, subconsciously, gaslight women and buy time, and they make a woman feel guilty for having standards. And again, this isn't trying to beat down men or anything. I do think there are women who move way too fast. I do think there are women out there who are nuts and crazy. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman after 8 dates saying, "Hey, I like you, you like me. This seems to be going well. Do you want to take it to the next level?" Now, of course, you wouldn't say it like that. He'll throw you to the curb. But you get what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But women feel pressure or feel that they're pressuring a dude. Nah, you're not pressuring a dude, because listen, anything after 6 to 8 dates, like let's say if you're watching this, and I know some of you are right now, probably 50-60% of you are talking to a guy month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. That's just borrowed time now. Why would a guy commit to you after 6 months of paying rent free? He's not. He's having his cake and eat it too. Like I said, if the man can stick to the best case scenario, which is pure advantages for him, which is having his cake and eating it too, talking to you while being single and talking to other women, he's going to do so. That's just how it is. So, swinging back around, so I answered the title of this video. A guy will not commit because based on advantages, okay? If a man's looking for a relationship and there's a threat in losing you and he actually likes you, then he might transition over. He's much more likely to transition over to one. But if there is no threat in losing you and he thinks he has you and you have proved that you're not going anywhere and you lower your own standards, why would he transition? Because if he feels like I'm already getting all the benefits and she's not going anywhere, then there is no justice, or there is no reason logically for me to commit, because I'm not gaining anything else and I'm not losing anything because she's not going anywhere. Okay, so ladies, 6 to 8 week mark, give the man the ultimatum. Talk. You're not pressuring him. If you've seen him 6 to 8 times, he knows what he wants. Okay, so that being said, ladies, I love you. Take care and peace.